Hey, everybody, how you doing? I said I'd be back for another podcast on morals. This is Neo Gentrics on Food for Thought. Thoughts if it were you. So the moral we're going to cover today is perseverance. While a lot of people don't really consider this to be one, it is a moral that I grew up having that my parents basically taught to me when I was younger. To persevere means to have steadfastness in doing something despite the difficulty or delay in achieving success, no matter how hard it is. Okay? And this also goes hand in hand with procrastination. I'm not going to cover procrastination today, but I just figured I'd go ahead and mention it. Okay? Perseverance. Well, first off, what is perseverance? It's the ability to keep going, doing something despite all the obstacles. Typically, when people are confronted with something that is too difficult or too hard, they quit. It's said that people who persevere show steadfastness in doing something despite how hard it is or how long it may take to reach that goal. Sometimes it's called grit, is the greater leveler. But, you don't have to be the wealthiest in the world or have the most friends or be the smartest kid in class. Persevere, you can reach your goals despite anything that happens. You can help inspire perseverance by allowing kids to, experience failure, in a safe, supported environment, of course. When kids need to recover from a setback, think their way through a challenge or try again, they develop this. Even us as adults need to take some, I guess you can say we need to take some advice from the very children that we have in front of us. As despite no matter how hard some things get, kids just don't know when to give up. They don't quit until they just can't go anymore or they hurt themselves. Let me reference something here. People in Forbes, okay? They don't end up in the Forbes magazine or on their webpage just because they're rich or whatnot. No, they have to persevere through some bad times to get to where they're at, to become what they are and who they are now, to end up there, okay? Thomas Jefferson once said, when we see ourselves in a situation which must be endured and gone through, it is best to make up our minds to it, okay? Meet it with firmness, yeah. I have to remember. And accommodate everything to it in the best way practical. This lessens the evil, while fretting and fuming only serves to increase your own torment. Basically means keep at it, but at a steady pace in a way that is most applicable. In this way, you don't infuriate yourself and just jump the gun and do something which will in turn hurt you. Without perseverance, talent is a barren bed. Okay, it's just a common proverb that I grew up knowing. Okay, how do I put it? Failure is only postponed success. As long as courage coaches ambition, the habit of persistence is the habit of victory. Okay, perseverance goes hand in hand with persistence. All right, whatever necessity lays upon the, endure whatever it commands. Wolfgang von Goethe had mentioned this in one of his conferences that I went to a couple years ago. All right? And if that's not good enough for you, how about something from George Washington? To persevere in one's duty and be silent is the best answer to calumny. Basically, to persevere is to keep going despite anything that happens. And with this, this one applies to not only anything that you do as far as your job or your lifestyle. This also has a lot to do with the things that you do and all the other morals that I will be discussing, don't worry, in the future. You have to have perseverance to see through to have self-esteem. You first have to persevere through the bad times. You have to be able to stay the course no matter what happens. A lot of people are unable to do this. Okay? It's a very very tough world out there, and you know, it's not easily, how do I put it? It's not easily attainable for anything. Okay? Is it a personal trait? Not necessarily. Okay? It's argued to be a trait, but it enables a person to keep going and accomplish a goal. Okay? Which brings up the question, is it a skill? No, it's not. However, for those who don't have any perseverance whatsoever, it can be acquired as such. And this applies to a lot of people. Continued effort in anything, despite failure, despite anything else, is considered perseverance. On that note, having self-esteem can help with perseverance. If you believe you can do anything, no matter what it is, you'll be able to persevere. This is part 1 to this. Okay? I will pick up later with the second part to this. In this first piece, all I wanted to cover is what is perseverance and a couple of quotes on it. In the next piece, I'll cover how to actually use this in practical use every day.